Diversity. Diversity.
Diversity. Diversity.
Diversity.
Diversity.
Diversity.
Diversity matters both in our society in general and at the law school in particular. In terms of our society, we know that people make better decisions when they are in diverse groups. As a society, we will work together, we will function more effectively when the people around the table reflect the society as a whole. So that's why diversity is important, one of the many reasons why diversity is important in society. For law schools, diversity is critical because our graduates, our lawyers, are going to go on to represent diverse clients. They are going to work in diverse groups. If they don't learn to work collaboratively in diverse environments in law school, they will not be effective professionals when they graduate. So that's one of the many reasons why diversity is important in law schools.
Diversity at Suffolk has allowed me to interact with lots of individuals with different backgrounds and perspectives.
Diversity is very important. We want to understand how other people lead their lives, how they got to where they are, be able to put ourselves in other people's shoes. I think all too often, especially in the criminal justice field, we're, very disconnected from a lot of the people that are in the system. So, we have to be able to understand where they come from to, sufficiently represent them, and to, people need to think twice about, judging other people. And
understanding and respecting different perspectives.
When I think of diversity and inclusion, I think of the opportunity for someone to feel comfortable bringing their full self into the community in which they are working, living, existing. Whatever one's background, whether it be race, gender, sexual identity and orientation, cultural background, language, where I can feel comfortable being my full self and be accepted fully as who I am. That is where I see should be the goal for a diverse and inclusive environment. And I'm especially excited to be here at Suffolk, where I really believe we're working towards creating an environment like that, where all of us can be our full selves in all of our various shapes, colors, forms, and ways of thinking.
Diversity to me means the opportunity to be exposed to a variety of different types of people, ethnicities, religion, and thinking. I think that being exposed to a diverse setting is imperative to promote empathy, to promote understanding, tolerance, all the things that you can expect from a more civilized and prosperous society.
Diversity means multiple schools of thoughts and experiences coming together.
What diversity means to me, in the classroom at least, as someone who teaches, is that it brings together many various points of view, people coming from different perspectives that you wouldn't have in a classroom that did not have that diversity. It makes for a much richer learning environment, and I think it helps propel our students to understand what the world is going to look like when they go out and are attorneys. So I think having a diverse classroom, for me at least, makes it much more of a dynamic learning atmosphere for everybody.
Diversity means equal representation for all.
What diversity means to me is essentially me, basically. I feel as though diversity is very important, whether it has to do with race, ethnicity, color. There are a million different things that diversity means, but for me personally, diversity means me.
Diversity means to me a welcoming environment at the law school and better preparation for the legal profession. It seems to me that the ability to see people for what they bring to the table is very valuable in recognizing how to respond to those people and understand the development of relationships, which of course is the foundation for all legal work. So I see diversity as extremely important to the development of new lawyers, a successful progression from student to practice.
What diversity means to me, I'm going to answer this as Dean of Students. I think that an exploration and an appreciation of diversity and diverse cultures makes better lawyers. So our law students as they get to law school and learn from others and can start appreciating how important it is to be lawyers who are familiar with diverse cultures and can operate in a diverse world, will only become better lawyers. And whether that's operating in that environment or taking a moment to check an implicit bias that we all have, learning about that, it's just going to make people better lawyers. And I appreciate all the work that this committee has done to bring this idea forward and the work of the SBA around this dinner.
Diversity means to me, I'm accepted at Suffolk, intermingle with my colleagues. We exchange ideas, my views, my approach are all accepted by the instructor, and I feel at home. This brings to my mind that indeed America is a diverse nation. Accepting a cross-section of people from all around the world makes America great.
My perspective on diversity is very much influenced by my experience when I was in law school. As a second-year student, I was in a legal aid clinic, and we were serving primarily clients who were low income, African Americans, many of whom had migrated from the South. I had little to no experience with those communities and with those populations when I was growing up, and it was very clear to me very quickly that that was a real disadvantage, that it really jeopardized my ability to effectively represent them as a student attorney, and that created challenges on top of the typical challenges of this new role of being an attorney. So I gleaned from that the importance of having more experiences dealing with people different from us, people who come from different backgrounds, who have different points of view, in order for us to, as lawyers, to be effective lawyers. Clearly the world is becoming much more diverse, and so it's important that the law school provide the opportunity of our students not only to develop legal skills like interviewing, advocacy, analysis, written communication. Those are key. But we clearly need to have cultural competencies as well. And I think it's really important that the school has made progress. We still have a ways to go, but I think we've made a lot of progress in having an environment with a more diverse student population, with opportunities for interaction, things like student organizations and student programming, clinical programs. One I've been involved with, the Marshall Brennan program, where our students go into Boston public schools to teach constitutional law. These are all opportunities for people to gain the kind of cultural competencies that I think are extremely important for lawyers in the 2020s, the era when current students are going to be out there and starting their careers.
First, I want to say that I think it's fabulous that the students are taking such an important interest in promoting Diversity Week. To me, I think it's important to have a diversity of opinions in our classrooms, in the legal profession, but also people who come from diverse backgrounds. We all look different. We all come from different ethnic backgrounds, linguistic backgrounds, racial backgrounds, and we have different identities. And I think that we can't truly understand the law and truly understand what justice is unless we have an opportunity to hear all of those voices in the classroom, in the courtroom, and in society.
I feel welcomed here. I feel that, this community, recognizes and acknowledges that we are all fellow human beings, we are all humanity, and we live here and think together and work together towards a better world together. So I feel that this place is very inspiring, and the students here have great aspirations, good aspirations, excellent aspirations to make the world a better place. So I'm so proud to be part of Suffolk University and Suffolk Law School.
I think it's really critical to remember that it's not enough for our communities to be diverse. It's wonderful to have all of the right people around the table and for our communities, our classrooms, our schools to look like the world around us. But we need more than that. We need for every person in our community to feel included. Inclusion is a critical part of this work. And so we do a few things at Suffolk Law to try to make our community not only diverse, but inclusive as well, through training on implicit bias, microaggressions, by having Diversity and Inclusion Week, by hiring people like Sharina Wright to make sure that we're doing everything we possibly can as a law school to make ourselves as inclusive as we can possibly be.
Something that's a very good job of is the students who are involved with affinity groups, such as the Black Law Student Association or PALSA and LALSA, so many different groups. They share their missions, which is to basically make people aware of their cultures. And I feel as though Suffolk does a very good job of that.
I'm really happy to be a faculty member at Suffolk Law because I think that as an institution we do value diversity and we really try and support students both individually and through various kinds of affinity groups. And I think it just provides a great resource and support. For a number of years I was the faculty advisor to the Women of Color Law Student Association, and that was just a great organization that just found a way to provide a greater support community for students of color, for women, for other people who just felt like that was a community that they could call home. And law school's tough, and we're training you to be successful lawyers in life, but at the same time I think it's important to have safe places that you can feel comfortable, where you can share your feelings and you can discuss things that you may not otherwise be able to talk about in the classroom.
Suffolk celebrates diversity by including a vast amount of cultural clubs on campus.
For me, when I think of diversity, I think of inclusion, and that's very personal for me as a gay man. I feel that I'm included in the community and that my talents and my abilities are accepted and valued by the environment, the place that I work. So it's very important to me and something that I personally value. I'm very excited that that's an environment that we have here at Suffolk.
Suffolk is part of the family, and that's the basis and most important unit in any given society. If you accept to live in oneness, your goal will be achieved. So I feel great being within the Suffolk family.
I think there's nothing more important than diversity, but I actually like to talk about it more as inclusion. I think obviously diversity is important because it gets people to think about who's in the room and who are the people in the room. Are we representative of the people that we aim to serve outside our legal community? But I think we've gotten better thinking about diversity. I think the issue for us now is inclusion. I once read a really good anecdote about how diversity is making sure that you're invited to the dance, but inclusion is that you want to dance, that you feel comfortable dancing. So I think we think a lot about who's in the room and being representative of society at large, but my goal in the law school community in particular is that everyone should feel that they can participate, that everyone is a piece of the puzzle here, that everyone's views are valued, whether you're in the mainstream or not in the mainstream, whether you are like everyone or not like everyone. I think inclusiveness is something that we want to really work towards. Everyone should feel like they've come to dance at the dance, not just to be there in the room. As a professor, it's something that I think about a lot. I hope that my students feel that their viewpoints are valued in my classroom. I know that I'm still learning. I think we're all still learning, and so this is a process that we're all on, and the more we talk about it and the more we focus on it, hopefully the better off we'll be.
Hi, we're the SBA's Diversity and Inclusion Committee.
As the Diversity and Inclusion Committee, we strive to elevate the support we offer to diverse individuals and groups on campus, and we also strive to promote a more inclusive atmosphere for learning.
We want to take the time to thank you all for coming to the Diversity Dinner, and we want to say that we appreciate everyone who participated in this video, and we hope you all have a great rest of the night.